We are covering asbestos and radon hazards for the national portion of the real estate exam. Asbestos is a mineral that was once used extensively in building materials because of its incredible strength and resistance to heat and chemicals. When you encounter asbestos questions on the exam, you must look for the term friable. This is the technical term for asbestos that can be easily crumbled or reduced to powder by hand pressure. This distinction is vital because asbestos is generally only considered a health hazard when it is disturbed and becomes airborne. Once these microscopic fibers are inhaled, they can remain in the lungs for a lifetime, causing debilitating diseases like asbestosis or mesothelioma. A common exam trap involves whether asbestos must always be removed from a property. The answer is usually no. In many cases, the safest and most cost-effective method is encapsulation, which involves sealing the asbestos in place with a specialized coating to prevent the fibers from ever becoming friable. You should also watch for questions about the age of the home. While asbestos was phased out in many products in the late 1970s, it can still be found in older insulation, floor tiles, popcorn ceilings, pipe wrapping, and roofing. Moving on to radon, you are dealing with a completely different type of threat. Radon is a colorless, odorless, and tasteless radioactive gas that occurs naturally through the decay of uranium in the soil. It typically enters a home through cracks in the foundation, floor drains, or gaps around pipes. The exam will frequently test your knowledge of its health effects, specifically that it is the second leading cause of lung cancer in the United States. You need to memorize the number 4.0. This refers to 4.0 picocuries per liter of air, which is the action level set by the Environmental Protection Agency. If a test shows radon levels at or above this mark, mitigation is strongly recommended. Radon mitigation usually involves a sub-slab depressurization system, which uses a fan and pipe to pull the gas from beneath the house and vent it safely into the atmosphere above the roofline. While soil is the most common source, radon can also occasionally be found in well water, and some exam questions may mention this secondary source. From an exam perspective, both asbestos and radon are considered material facts. This means if a seller or a real estate agent knows about their presence, they must disclose it to potential buyers. A common trick wording on the test involves who is responsible for the cost of testing. Generally, the buyer has the right to conduct these inspections at their own expense during the due diligence period. Remember that you do not need to be an expert in the science of these minerals, but you must understand the liability and disclosure requirements. A helpful way to keep these straight is the phrase, asbestos is airborne and radon is radioactive. If you see a question asking which hazard requires a ventilation system, think of the gas rising from the ground and choose radon. If you see a question about crumbly insulation that needs a sealant, think of asbestos and the process of encapsulation. Understanding these nuances will help you navigate the environmental sections of the exam, where the distinction between a known hazard and a required repair is often the difference between the right and wrong answer. Always look for the word friable when asbestos is mentioned, and always look for the word decay when radon is mentioned, as these are the triggers that point to the correct licensing exam response.